The doctor didn't look at me when he spoke. That's how I knew my son might die.
Hey guys, before we dive into today's family revenge story, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. And I'm curious, where are you watching from right now? Comment your country and current time below. All right, let's begin. This is the story of a family pushed to the edge, and what happened next will shock you.
Ethan needs a compatible donor, he said quietly. Without it, his chances drop fast. My son, my 8-year-old boy, Ethan Parker. The kid who still slept with the hallway light on. The kid who trusted me more than anyone in the world. I stood there, frozen, while my wife, Laura, started crying like the ground had vanished under her feet. I didn't cry. I didn't breathe. I just nodded. "I'll do it," I said. "Run whatever tests you need." They drew my blood the same day. I didn't hesitate. I signed every form: consent, risk, surgery, all of it. Because that's what a father does. Or what I thought I was. 2 days later, I sat alone in a sterile room while a nurse typed quietly at a computer. She kept glancing at the screen, then at me, like she wasn't sure how to say something dangerous. Finally, she stood up. "Mr. Parker, there's something we need to discuss." She closed the door. The test results didn't say I was incompatible. They said something worse. I wasn't Ethan's biological father. The words didn't land right away. They hovered in the air, meaningless, like a foreign language. I laughed once, a dry, confused sound. "That's not possible," I said. "I've been his dad since the day he was born." The nurse's voice softened. "Genetically, there's no match." My hands started shaking. Not anger yet. Shock. My whole life tilted sideways. When Laura arrived, her face already told me the truth. She didn't ask what the nurse said. She didn't argue. She just collapsed into a chair and whispered, "I never wanted you to find out like this." That sentence hit harder than any fist ever could. She confessed in pieces. Years ago, a coworker, one mistake. She swore she didn't know Ethan wasn't mine. She swore she loved me. She swore it didn't change anything. But everything had already changed. The power shifted instantly. I wasn't the husband anymore. I wasn't the father they needed on paper. I was suddenly optional. The hospital contacted the biological father. He lived in another state, wealthy, clean record, perfect genetic match. They didn't ask my permission. I watched from a plastic chair as another man walked into my son's room. Taller, confident, smiling like he belonged there. And the worst part? Laura let him hold Ethan's hand. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I sat there, silently, humiliated, while the world rewrote my role without asking me. That was the moment something inside me went cold. The surgery was scheduled quickly. The biological father, Ryan Cole, became a hero overnight. Nurses praised him. Doctors respected him. Laura looked at him with something dangerously close to gratitude. I became invisible. At first, I tried to stay involved. I brought food, I slept in the chair, I whispered to Ethan when he was scared. But slowly, the tone shifted. "You don't have to stay," Laura said one night. "Ryan's here now." Ryan. She said his name easily, comfortably. Then came the paperwork. The hospital's legal team explained gently, like they were sparing a child. Medical decisions would now involve the biological parent. It was procedural, nothing personal. Nothing personal. Ryan didn't hide his confidence. He wore tailored jackets, talked about private schools, better doctors, a more stable future. He never insulted me directly. He didn't have to. He just outgrew me in every room. Laura started siding with him, not openly, subtly. Decisions about Ethan's care, his recovery plan, even where he'd stay during rehabilitation. One afternoon, she said it out loud. "Maybe Ethan should spend some time with Ryan after this," she said carefully. "He has resources we don't." We don't. That's when I understood the power imbalance fully. I had raised Ethan. I had loved him. But money, genetics, and timing had stripped me of authority. And then came the final humiliation. Ryan filed for shared custody. Laura didn't fight it. She told me, "It's not about replacing you. It's about what's best for Ethan." I looked at her and realized she had already chosen a side. The side that came with money, legitimacy, and no inconvenient secrets. They expected me to break, to beg, to accept being erased quietly. Instead, I did something no one expected. I stepped back. I signed nothing. I argued nothing. I watched. I listened. I documented everything. Because revenge doesn't start with rage. It starts with patience. I hired a lawyer, not for custody, for truth. We dug into Ryan's background quietly, not aggressively, just thoroughly. Public records, financial disclosures, corporate filings. What we found wasn't criminal. It was worse. Ryan's wealth was tied to a biotech firm under federal investigation for data manipulation. Nothing proven yet, just buried complaints, silenced whistleblowers, pending audits. I said nothing. Meanwhile, Laura started changing. The confidence she'd gained began to crack. Ryan was controlling, opinionated. He questioned her parenting, her spending, her loyalty. The man who looked perfect in the hospital turned sharp at home. I stayed calm, supportive, silent. When Ethan came home for weekends, I was still his dad. I helped with homework. I listened. I never spoke badly about anyone. Children notice consistency. Then, 6 months later, the investigation became public. Ryan's company's stock collapsed. Federal subpoenas followed. His reputation unraveled in slow motion. Laura panicked. Suddenly, she wanted unity again. Suddenly, she remembered who had been there through the hard years. She asked me for help. I gave her something better. The truth. My lawyer filed a motion using hospital records, text messages, and financial instability to demonstrate emotional coercion and unsafe influence during Ethan's recovery. Ryan fought back. He lost. The court didn't strip him of rights completely, but they limited them sharply. Supervised visits, financial oversight. And Laura? She wasn't spared either. Her infidelity, her silence, her willingness to erase me, all of it was documented. The judge didn't shout, he didn't shame. He simply adjusted custody based on stability and trust. I was reinstated as Ethan's legal father through equitable parent doctrine. Quiet, legal, final. The day the ruling came down, no one cried. Laura sat still, staring at the table. Ryan didn't attend. His lawyers advised him to stay away. Ethan squeezed my hand. That was enough. I didn't celebrate. I didn't gloat. Revenge isn't loud when it's intelligent. Months later, Laura apologized. Not dramatically, not convincingly. I accepted it without forgiveness. Because forgiveness is optional. Boundaries are not. Ryan faded from Ethan's life naturally, not by force, by absence. Children understand who shows up. And me? I stayed exactly where I always was. At school plays, at doctor visits, at bedtime. The test results changed everything, just not the way they expected. They tried to reduce fatherhood to biology. I proved it was built on presence, patience, and resilience. In the end, I didn't take revenge with anger. I let the truth do the damage. And I walked away with what mattered most. Not because I fought loud, but because I never left.